Do we finish? What
Sorry?
time do we finish class?
Today we finished class at 8:40 a.m.
Okay.
Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to mute everybody and I'm going to get us started on our lesson today. All right. Okay, so let me share my screen with you and let's have a look. So yesterday, there we go. Yesterday, we read half of our story, Technology Wins the Game. And when we stopped halfway through, I asked you to do this for homework. Choose one piece of sports equipment and research how it has improved over the past. So let's have a look. The students' homeworks that I received last night are as follows. Again, unfortunately, I didn't have everyone's homework. So I checked the homework page at 10 p.m. last night because I was actually busy doing other homework beforehand. And these are the students' homework that I have. Noob, Caroline, Zaling, Susie, Teddy, Kiwi, Tweechy, Steve, Le Kang, Leo, Quang Hai, Hannah, Emma, Ming Huang, and Quang Ming. So still missing quite a few students. If your name was called, well done, no problem. You uploaded it on time. For anyone's name who wasn't called out, you will be losing your points on Class Dojo for not handing homework in on time. Now let's have a look. So the first, yes, Quang Ming.
Why do other day you said deadline was 9 p.m.?
The deadline is 9 p.m.
So why do you said you check it on 10 p.m.?
Did you hear what I said after? I gave a reason. Can anyone remember the reason that I said that I checked the homework at 10 p.m.? Hannah, go ahead.
It is because you have other homework to check, so 10 p.m. you will take our homework.
Good girl, well done. It's because I was very busy checking other homework and marking some test scores, so I didn't get to check our homework until 10 p.m. last night. So that's why I checked it late. But usually I check it at around 9 p.m. and 9 p.m. is still the deadline. Okay, let's have a look, guys. So for homework, Caroline created this piece and it was really brilliant. Well done, Caroline. You took the task at hand and did an amazing job of writing down your homework. Where is Caroline? Link. Okay, Caroline, can you please read out your homework? I have corrected it in some parts. Caroline, are you there?
The sport equipment that I choose is football. And in the past, balls were made of cow skin and they were very heavy. If it was rainy, the ball will be soaked in water.
This word is soaked.
Soaked in water, and therefore it would be heavier. If the ball was heavy, it was hard to kick, easy broken, and it was easy to lose the shape. The ball in the past was grafted with 15 to 20 pieces of duck leather. Now the ball was grafted.
The ball is
grafted with 23 pieces of leather to
32
pieces of leather to help the ball retain shape when they play. The ball is now made of synthetic leather.
So this word is synthetic.
Synthetic leather, which has high water
Resistance.
Resistant is also is more rounded to allow for higher precision.
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 Precision, so you can kick it farther. Footballs have changed in many ways.
Amazing. Really good job. So can everyone please unmute and give Caroline a big, big round of applause. So Caroline, I think out of the whole class, has the best homework. Really good job, Caroline. Can I have some opinions on Caroline's homework? What do you guys think about Caroline's homework? What do we think about Caroline's homework? Great, good girls, Emma and Hannah. Emma, what's your opinion?
My opinion is Caroline's homework is good because she has her opinion and reason for the why football.
Okay, good job, Emma. So we don't have much of an opinion from Caroline here, but what Caroline has done is she has clearly researched her homework like I asked. She decided that she would choose a football, and then she goes on, like Emma says, to give lots of details comparing the football to the past and now. She explains to us that in the past, balls were made of cowskin, so leather, and they were very heavy. And if it was rainy, when they were kicking the ball around, the ball would get soaked in the water and it would be heavier. And if it was heavier, it was hard to kick. It could be easily broken and it was easy to lose the shape. She talks about how it was created in the past with dark leather and 20 pieces put together. She then starts to talk about what the ball is like now. She said that it's grafted with 32 pieces of leather to help the ball keep its shape. The leather is now synthetic, and what that means is it's fake leather. So it's now made out of a leathery kind of material that's not made from animal skin. It's made from plastic. So therefore it has high water resistant, meaning it's waterproof. It's also more rounded to allow for higher precision. So that means we can be more precise when we kick the ball. Hannah, what's your opinion on Caroline's homework?
Caroline's homework is great. She has lots of details for her opinion.
Good girl. So again, not really her opinion, but she has lots of details about information. She gives us lots of information about the past football and the present football. Well done. Thank you, Hannah, very much. So thank you, Hannah and Emma. Caroline's homework is wonderful. Good girl, Caroline. You should be very, very proud of yourself. Okay, I'm seeing some students without their cameras on, so I'm moving them to the waiting room because you cannot be in class without your camera switched on. All right, let's go ahead and start our lesson. Emma, do you have a question?
No.
Okay, it says that you raised your hand. That's great. Before we start, who can remind me of some of the things we learned about yesterday? Can anyone remind me what we call this kind of sport? Can anyone remember what we call this kind of sport? So we learned about this yesterday. Okay, so this is called pole vaulting. This kind of athlete is a pole vaulter, someone who runs and jumps and uses a pole to eject themselves over the second higher bar. Can anyone remember what this type of material is called? So this is the new kind of material that we use in poles for pole vaulting. Previously, they used wood, which was very heavy and it wasn't flexible at all. Who can remember what we call this type of material? Hacker? Can you remember?
I remember that is a stick.
Sorry, Hacker, can you say it again louder? It's hard to hear you.
That is a stick.
Stick, no, not quite. So this material is not a stick. It's a type of plastic. So it's a very fine plastic that we use nowadays, and we use them in the poles for pole vaulting. Kwang Ming, can you remember?
I think it's rubber.
No, not quite rubber, but that's a good guess. All right, have a look. It's called, I'll write it on the screen for us. It's called fiberglass. Okay, this type of material is called fiberglass, and it's like a very fine plastic, but it's very strong and flexible. So that's why we use it. Fiberglass. Okay, now who can remind me why we had to change tennis rackets? Tennis rackets have changed over the years. What did they used to be made out of, and why did we change it? Why did we change tennis rackets? So far I've got Hacker, Hannah, and Kwang Ming. The rest of us are being very quiet. What material did tennis rackets used to be made out of, and why did we change the material? Okay, better. Now I'm seeing some hands raised. Okay, Cindy, what do you think?
The tennis racket is in its face is more bigger when to now.
Good girl, well done. They made them bigger. The head or the string area is larger to allow for a better chance to hit the ball. Good. And what material did it used to be made out of? Leo, can you remember?
Made out of wood.
Good job. It's made out of wood, or they were made out of wood, excuse me. So they used to be made out of wood, but they had to change it. Why did they have to change the material from wood? Why was wood not a good material to have for the tennis racket? Nikki?
The wood is not good because it's too heavy, and if we swing it, we can be tired.
Very good. Good girl, Mickey. Wood is such a heavy material that when we're holding it and constantly swinging the back, it means that we're going to get very tired very quickly. So then they changed it to metal. And then nowadays, we actually use a mix of materials. So it's like a different mix of carbon fiber and fiberglass. So we change the materials 3 times. Have a look over here. This is what tennis balls used to look like. Nowadays, they are bright yellow and they are very different. Can someone tell me some of the differences between old tennis balls and new tennis balls? What were old tennis balls made out of, and why did we change the materials of tennis balls? Hannah.
All tennis balls are made out of leather, and it is much heavier. And nowadays, tennis balls are made out of rubber or
Good girl.
glass.
Good girl. Well done, Hannah. Many years ago, tennis balls were made out of leather and stuffed with wool or horsehair. So you can imagine when you threw one of these on the ground, it didn't bounce up. It just kind of bounced a small amount. Nowadays, tennis balls are made out of rubber and they have nothing on the inside. They are hollow, which allows for a better bounce. Okay, now that we're up to date with that, let's go ahead and pick up where we left off. So yesterday we had just finished reading about the pole vaulters and how we had to change the poles from wood to this new fiberglass material that's very flexible. Okay, run faster. Can you please read this page for me? I choose Sao.
What makes a
Run faster.
run faster? What makes a runner fast? athlete,
Athletic.
athletic
Ability.
ability and good training, and most important, engineers have designed new track surface
Surfaces.
surfaces and clothing to help track runners used to run on grass fields. When it rains, the tracks will be soggy and slippery. Now, most runners run on all-weather tracks. These are man-made surfaces with a top coat
Surfaces.
with a top coat of rubber chips. The rubber chips make the runner's shoes bounce off the track better. This increases
Good.
speed. New kinds of clothing also help runners speed up. Many track stars don't wear shirts or shorts like they used to. They wear lightweight bodysuits that fit tightly. When they run in this suit, the wind does not slow them down. Even
Every.
fraction of a second counts.
Lovely. Thanks for reading, Sal. Okay, so this paragraph is all about how sports engineers have improved what kind of sports? Is it how sports engineers improved tennis? Is it how sports engineers improved football? What have we just read about? So far I've got Hannah, Sal, and Kuan Ning. Really good job, guys, but I'm needing a lot more participation from other students. So my question is, what is this paragraph about? What kind of sports are we learning about here? This paragraph is about how sports engineers are improving what sport? What do you think, Kuan Ning?
I think it talk about um, um, engineers designed no
What sport are engineers improving in this paragraph?
the pole.
No, not pole vaulting. So pole vaulting was over here. This explained to us how sports engineers improved pole vaulting. What did we just read about? So Sal read this whole paragraph very kindly out loud for us. And what does it tell us about? It tells us about how sports engineers have improved what sport? Sal, what do you think?
I think it's about running sport.
Good job. It's about running. Okay. You can help find the answer by looking at the heading here. The heading is run faster. Then the first topic sentence says, what makes a runner fast? So I know that this paragraph is going to be all about runners and how sports engineers have improved their equipment to help runners run faster. So engineers have designed new track surfaces and clothing to help. So track runners, or people who would run 100-meter sprints or 200-meter sprints, they used to run on grass fields. Now, obviously this was quite difficult because when it rained, the tracks would become soggy and slippery. When you try to run on grass that is wet, it can be quite dangerous. You can fall and slip on the mud. Now, when we have a race, most runners run on all weather tracks. So you've probably seen these tracks on things such as the Olympics. So in the Olympics, when you watch the runners, they are running on a material that looks orange. Now, this is usually called AstroTurf, and it's a man-made surface with a coating of rubber chips. So there's rubber in the ground. Therefore, when the runners are running on the rubber ground, it makes their shoes bounce off the track, giving them more speed. They also use new kinds of clothing. They used to wear things like t-shirts and shorts, but nowadays they wear lightweight bodysuits that fit really tight to your skin so that the clothes aren't blowing in the wind, as this can slow you down. So when you run in a tight-fitted suit, the wind does not affect you. Okay, let's have a look at this paragraph. Okay, can you please read this paragraph for me? Let's go for, who did I not hear from? Let's go for Hacker.
A new kind of racing. Boston Marathon is the oldest and most famous marathon race in the world. Each year, thousands of athletes run
26.2 mile.
26.2 miles of course through the heavy street of Boston and
Neighboring
neighboring towns.
in 1975.
What was this? The marathon in a different way. You will his way to finish the line. Ohio was a first
Official
at least to complete the Boston Marathon. He finished the race less than 2 hours, faster than most runners. Today, wheelchair athletes compete the
high-tech
high-tech wheelchairs.
Bob Hall. Hacker, you're not finished yet. There's one other caption over here. Bob Hall.
Bob Hall is a simple wheelchair in a Boston Marathon.
Good job. Okay, so marathons are races in which many people run. Now, a marathon is not a short race. It's a race that can take 4, 5, 6, 7 hours to complete. So have a look here. Usually lots of people get involved, and usually it's for charity. So often a lot of people will say that they're going to run the marathon, and they will ask people for money. So for example, maybe there is a marathon that is sponsored to try and raise money for cancer research. So lots of people will join and they will run a really long race, and they will ask family and friends to donate money to them so that they can take part in the marathon and give that money to the charity that they're running for. So in 1975, Bob Hall here finished the marathon in a different way. He is in a wheelchair, so he is not able to use his legs as many of us can use them. So I'm not sure if he was in an accident or he was born this way, but he is unable to run the marathon using his legs. So instead, he decided he wanted to take part, and he used his wheelchair instead. Nowadays, people who are in wheelchairs compete in lots and lots of sports activities, but they use high-tech wheelchairs. Look at this wheelchair. You can see a huge difference. This is a simple wheelchair that Bob Hall used, but nowadays, sports engineers have designed aerodynamic wheelchairs to allow people to race better. Have a look at some of these pictures. So this is what a simple wheelchair looked like back in the day. As you can see, it looks quite uncomfortable. It's quite big. It's got 4 wheels. But nowadays, we have wheelchairs that look like this. As you can see, the wheels are slightly slanted. We don't have 4 wheels anymore. We only have 3. So this is to make it easier for the athletes to move around and decide in which direction they are going. Kwang Ming, do you have a question?
Why do people run marathons?
Why do people run marathons? Yeah. So I guess there would be a lot of answers for that. I'm sure some people run marathons because they want to, just because they want to challenge themselves and they want to prove that they can run such a strenuous race. I'm sure that other people do it for raising awareness and raising money. So that's one thing that I was talking about earlier. Most of the people that I know in my life who have ran a marathon are doing it to raise money for a charity. So some of my friends run for cancer awareness to raise money for cancer research. Some of my friends run marathons to raise money for homeless. There are many reasons that people run marathons. But as you can see, guys, sports engineers have improved the design of the wheelchair, and they've made it easier for athletes who need to use wheelchairs to compete in races. Let's go back to our story. Okay, in these shoes, who will read this paragraph for me? Can you please read this paragraph? I choose. Let's go for Emma.
In these shoes, sport engineers have also designed shoes to make athletes faster and to give them more support. Athletes need different kinds of shoes for different sports. If you want to win, you need to wear the right shoes. A history of running shoes. In ancient time, in ancient times, runners ran barefoot. As time went on, athletes began to run in sandals. Soon, the sandals were winning most of the races. The running shoe was born.
Good girl, Emma. I'm going to ask someone else to read now. Can you take over from reading, please, Caroline?
The next big change came in the
1830s.
1830s in England. The first running shoe with rubber sole was introduced. Rubber sole was light and comfortable. They are also easy to grip the ground.
Good girl, thank you for reading. Can you take over Nikki, please? Spikes?
Spikes were added to running shoes as early as
1852. So guys, remember when we come to a year, we divide it into two. So when we come to a year, how we say it is we draw a line down the middle and we say these two numbers, 1852. This one would be 1920s. So make sure when you come to a year, you divide it down the middle and say both of the numbers. Okay, Mickey, go ahead.
In 1920, a man named
Addie Dassler
improved the design and solved the first modern running shoes with spike. Spike give runner a better
grip. Good girl. Hannah, can you read the last paragraph for me?
Today, shoemakers and engineers better understand the science of running. Running shoes are made for every style of runner and any surface. Engineers know that runners need shoes that are strong and flexible.
Good girl, Hannah. Okay, guys, have a look at this name. Do you recognize the sound of this name? Adi Dassler. Does that ring any bells for you? Does anyone recognize that name? Adi Dassler. Does that sound familiar? Okay, so Adi Dassler is actually the German who came up with the brand Adidas. Click the raise your hand button if you've heard of this brand before. Adidas. It's a very famous sports brand, and usually their brand is 3 stripes on the shoe, as you can see here. So I actually own maybe 2 pairs of Adidas shoes. Click the raise your hand button if you recognize this brand, you've ever seen this brand before. Okay, just a few people. So Sal, Hannah, Hacker, and Mickey, you've seen the brand Adidas. Amazing. Click the raise your hand if you've ever owned a pair of Adidas shoes, or maybe your mom, or your dad, or your brother, or your sister. Okay, great. Okay, so Hannah, Sal, Mingha, Mickey, Hacker, Kwang Ming, and Leo. So quite a few of us. So Adi Dassler was the German who created or paved the way for modern shoes. And obviously he's still extremely famous today. Many of us know his brand and wear his brand. So Adi Dassler improved the design and he was the person that sold the first modern running shoes with spikes. And like we said, spikes give runners a better grip when they're running. Have a look at this little diagram. It helps us understand what we've just read in this section. 5th century BC. In ancient Greece, runners ran with bare feet and then eventually with sandals. Then in the 1830s, shoes with rubber soles were created for a better grip. Then in the 1850s, we had the first use of spikes for running shoes. In the 1920s, Adi Dassler created the modern spiked running shoe. And in 1972, extra cushioning was added in the heels and the soles of the shoe to make it extra comfortable. All right, let's have a look over here. Leo, could you please read this paragraph for me? Extra bounce.
Extra bounce. Long jumper needs shoes that give the athlete extra bounce. The soles must be firm but able to bend. These shoes has metal spike in the front of the only shoe.
This of the shoe only.
Of the shoes only. This helps the jumper grip the ground and spring from the toes right before the jump.
Good job. Okay, guys, so have a look at a long jumper. So some of you may have not seen a long jumper before. Have a look. So in the long jump, what athletes have to do is they have to run up on the track. And when they get to this black line, they have to take a big leap and they jump into sand. They jump into sand so that the judges can mark their shoes and they can measure the length of how long or how far the long jumper has jumped. So this is a long jumper. And as you can see here, even on this picture, this long jumper is wearing shoes and they have spikes only at the front. They don't have spikes at the back. They have spikes only at the front here to help with the grip when they're running, and they can get a little bit of extra spring before they take that leap into the sand. Hannah has seen a long jumper before. Amazing. Click the raise your hand button now if you have ever watched someone do the long jump. Anyone compete in a long jump? Okay, so we've got Cindy, Kwang Ming, Hannah, Hacker, and Sao. Good job. So you've seen some people doing the long jump before. Awesome work, guys. Okay, let's go down to here. Can you please read this page for me? Who have I not heard from today? Mingha. So Mingha, I can see that you keep changing the little emoji beside your name. So if you could just focus on the class, that would be great.
Okay.
Mingha, are you able to read?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good girl, go ahead. Quick
Move.
movement.
Movement. Soccer shoes have plastic or metal cleats or rounded spikes on the bottom. Cleats keep soccer players from slipping in the dirt, grass, and mud. Soccer players need to change direction quickly. Without cleats, soccer would be a sloppier game.
Good job, thanks, Mingha. Okay, so soccer shoes also have plastic or metal cleats or spikes at the bottom. They need these spikes or cleats at the bottom for grip because, like we said, soccer players, they play on grass and dirt and mud. And often when you're running around on the soccer field, you're going to need to change direction quickly. So they need to use these grips to help them be able to change direction quickly and to make sure they don't fall on the pitch. Okay, play safely. I'm going to read this paragraph for us. Play safely. Athletes also need special equipment and clothing to protect them from injury. Sports can be dangerous, and professional athletes often take risks. Football helmets. Over 100 years ago, football players did not wear helmets. Ouch! Then, in the 1900s, players began to wear leather helmets. These early helmets did not provide much comfort or protection. Changes were needed. First, more padding was added. Second, a face mask was added to protect the nose and teeth. Also, the top of the helmet was made more round. This allowed a blow to slide off the helmet rather than strike head on. Next, in 1939, the first plastic helmet was invented. Today's football helmets are made of a special plastic that is light and strong. The helmet design protects players from head injuries. Some football helmets are being tested with tiny computer chips inside them. If a player hits his head, the chip sends a message to a computer. Scientists hope that these chips could tell coaches when a player needs medical help. So, football in America is a very contact sport. The runners run at each other and tackle each other to the ground. So it's a very contact sport where players often hurt themselves. Now, because back in the day, we didn't know that much about brain protection and our brain and the damage it could be caused, many players who played in the past, in their later life, suffered with brain diseases and brain disorders. So that's why sports engineers and scientists are working on creating helmets with computer chips inside them so that it can measure the blow that it gets to the head and it can tell the coach, your player has just had a very hard blow to the head, please seek medical help. Okay, let's have a look at these two pages. I'll read this page too. Other safety features. Some ski clothes are made to help skiers in trouble. Sometimes backcountry skiers get lost or are injured miles away from anyone. Sports engineers developed special sensors for their clothing. The sensors send information about a skier's location. A rescue team receives the information, which helps the team find skiers who have fallen or are buried under the snow. Brightly colored jackets and vests, called reflective wear, make bicyclists easier to see in the dark. So when you go skiing nowadays, they have chips, like computer chips inside them, so that if you go off track and you get lost, someone can track where you are with this computer chip and they can send out a helicopter team to rescue you, because skiing in a mountain can be very dangerous if you don't have any signal to call for help. And I'm sure you guys have seen lots of people wearing reflective wear before. Reflective wear is something that we use nowadays so that if you're walking or cycling late at night, cars can see you, because often cars will have their lights on at nighttime, and therefore in this reflective clothing, you will light up and you will be very bright for everyone to see. So this keeps you nice and safe. Just for fun, the next time you play your favorite sport, think about some of the equipment you use. Think about the kind of surface on which you are standing, running, or jumping. Notice how your sports shoes look or feel and help you perform. Now that you have read about sports engineering, you can think about how technology has helped to improve your sport. Technology not only makes our lives easier and better, it also makes our lives a lot more fun. So the next time you're playing any kind of sport, I want you to have a look at the equipment you're using. Look at the ball, look at the shoes, look at the tennis racket. Really study it and have a think about how the sports engineers have improved that for you. All right, guys, I'm going to show you what your homework is. Your homework for today is 10 comprehension questions. Have a look. So Miss Lan will send you the comprehension questions worksheet after class. Make sure that you write down your answer and write the page number. Anyone who does not write the page number will be deducted points for not doing their homework correctly. So you write the answer down and you write the page number down too. Do I have any questions about the lesson today or about your homework? Okay, good job. All right, guys, well, I'll end the class there. Have a wonderful rest of your day and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.